My next guest is returning to action February 18th at UFC Fight Night. It is Evan Elder joining me here on the program. Evan, how are you?
Dude, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, man. And good to see you back. We haven't seen you in a while. Obviously, you had that debut last year in April. I think a lot of people want to know why the layoff.
I've just been waiting on when the UFC was gonna let me get back in there. So they gave me something for February 18th, and obviously we took it. So here we are.
Does that surprise you, though? You know, the UFC, I know they have a lot of roster fighters on the roster, but this isn't the regional scene where it's a case of not having opponents. Did that part surprise you a bit?
Oh yeah, it did. But I'm a very firm believer everything happens for a reason, and God's timing is always perfect. So I never really question it too much. As long as I'm in the gym training and doing everything I can, that's the most important part. So the fights will happen along with everything else in life. So as long as I'm doing whatever I can, I know that everything will work out the way it's supposed to. So here we are, and I that layoff actually has been the biggest growth period in and out of the cage I've ever had in my whole life. So hopefully that it was hopefully it'll be worth the wait, and it'll show in my performance this time.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And again, you're in the gym all the time. You're learning more, just adding more to that tool belt, so to speak. What have you learned? What have you taken away this last period? Whether it's things in the gym in terms of your skill set, or maybe mentally, or daily habits. What are some things that you've found have been added to what you're having going into this fight?
I wouldn't say that it's like anything necessarily new or profound, but it's just kind of elaborating and further understandings of things that I've already been practicing, my whole career. Like I said, both physically, mentally, spiritually, on the mat, off the mat, just in all areas. So it's not like I started training at a different gym or move states or am doing anything real different. It's just better at all of it, hopefully. So.
Okay. And obviously the UFC debut, what was a while ago. You mentioned growth, you mentioned learning things. What did you take away the most from that fight against Preston Parsons?
Oh man, there's so much. It'll be a lot to unpack, but one of the biggest things is just the fear of losing. I that was my first loss in my professional career, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Obviously losing sucks, but I'm just so I'm I'm dedicated to getting better. I really that it really showed me that in this because I was like, obviously the loss stung. It really sucked. Nobody likes to lose, but I learned more from this one loss than I have every win I've ever had in my life put together. So I was like,
Mhm.
if I'm truly dedicated to getting better, like I say I am, I shouldn't be afraid of losing because that's where I've had the greatest growth. So it's like, um, to eliminate not eliminate, I'm sure that there's always going to be, I'm never going to want to lose. But to greatly diminish the fear of losing allows me to focus on everything else so much more. That amount of my mental capacity is now freed up, and I have more bandwidth to speak, you know, to pursue everything else, focus on winning. So I would say that's probably like the biggest thing. Also with like injuries and stuff, I was pretty beat up after the last fight, had like 20 stitches in my face. And I was healed up in like a week, I had some, leg bruises and things like that took a long time to heal up. But for the most part, after getting my ass kicked, it was like healed up quick. I was like, oh man, that ain't nothing. I'll do that again. So this time, yeah, man, I'm excited to get to run it back because this is all excuses. I don't care about all this. I don't care about this stuff I'm about to say, but it's short notice, up a weight class, blah blah blah, everything else. So the biggest thing, truthfully, was, man, I was ready. I was getting ready for a fight. I wasn't in bad shape. I wasn't unprepared. But to be completely honest with you, is the I let the moment overwhelm me. I got a little starstruck being around all these people I've watched on TV since I was young, freaking Daniel Cormier, Paul Felder commentating my fight, and super busy with medicals and flying and paperwork and media and all kinds of nonsense, that I lost sight of the fight. By the time the fight got there, I was like, "Oh yeah, I still got to fight." And then, I let the nerves get the best of me. But hopefully, I know that comes with a lot of people's first UFC experience. So hopefully, we got that out of the way, and the second one's gonna be way better.
Love the honesty, man. That's great, and glad to see you've kind of taken a lot from it into the second fight. Let's talk about your opponent here. Interestingly enough, this doesn't happen too often. He's got the exact same record as you. How are you looking at this fight from a style perspective?
Yeah, man, dude, I'm actually really excited about this because it's dude's tough. It's funny. I remember watching him fight on the Contender Series long before I was scheduled to fight him. I was like, damn, that dude's good. I'm gonna keep an eye out on him for sure. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. Like I said, I'm truly dedicated to bettering myself. I don't care about. I'm not trying to take the right fights that I'm just gonna that are gonna be the easiest ones for me to win, or I'm just, like I said, just truly dedicated to getting better. So I know that he's a very formidable, tough opponent. So it's going to allow me the opportunity for exactly that. I'm gonna have to freaking put it all out there and uh, put my skills to the test and see what works, see what doesn't. But he's real tough. Southpaw likes to keep a good tight high guard, marches straight forward. He's going to come bring the fight to me. And I think it's really going to give me a chance to open up and showcase some of my striking abilities. I feel like I did a poor job of that last fight. Um, and I think he's good at what he does. He's got a lot of he does a lot of things really well, but I think he's got some holes, and I think I'm going to be able to exploit those. And I think the my well-roundedness in my mixed martial arts will um, uh, kind of shine through and really kind of take me to the victory. I think that's what's going to separate us is more of the well-roundedness.
Okay. Training partners. Who are you mainly working with? Who's helping you get ready for this fight?
So the guy he is southpaw, so I'm a little bit more not necessarily limited, but I'm trying to train with primarily southpaws. It's a little bit different of it's a lot different of a look standing up, especially on the ground. It don't really matter, but standing up, so I've been going with pretty much most of the southpaws in our gym. Shout out to my boy Landon Quinones. He's been my main training partner. He's right on the verge of getting signed. I think he's gonna be in the UFC real soon. So he's right there at a similar level as us. So super talented striker. That's been probably my biggest training partner, along with Christos Yagos and um, several others. But nobody. The great thing about our gym, man, is we have. Dude, the mats are so packed with nothing but freaking studs and killers that it's like you can train with anybody. I could literally train with people you would have no idea who their name is, and it's going to be a great look because just to make it through a day of practice there, you have to be a savage and of adequate skill level. So any one of my training partners are great training partners, but Landon Quinones has been my main training partner in this training camp for sure.
Looks like you got plenty of notice for this fight. I imagine the weight cut's going well.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. This is actually one of the things that I've really dialed in and focused up on since my last fight was I take my nutrition and health very seriously anyway. So just kind of like I said, with all areas, I've been trying to learn and improve. So my nutrition has definitely been one of those, and I feel like I've just really figured things out more than I previously have before. So definitely going to be the best weight cut I've ever had, already way ahead of time, and feeling great. So everything's going well, man.
Who's going to be in the cage with you as far as your corner?
I think I got Greg Jones, Coach Greg Jones, our wrestling coach down here, going with me, and then I'll probably I'm gonna try to bring my buddy Landon, like I was saying, my training partner I've been training with. So, and then we'll probably have one of our other coaches go out there too. And uh, Coach Jones cornered me in my last fight, man. And he was, dude, loved having him in the corner. I mean, he's just such a dope person and an amazing coach. Like pretty much as good as it gets when it comes to the wrestling department. But he's been in the corner for so many high level fights. He's had a front row seat to so many freaking for so many fights. That he knows and understands MMA incredibly well. As also, it's not like he's just a wrestler.
Awesome. And how do you see the fight playing out on February 18th?
Man, I think it's gonna be fun. Like I said, I know the dude's tough. I know he's gonna freaking bring the fight to me, and I think it's gonna be fireworks. And I'm really, really excited for it, man. I think it's gonna be tough. I'm not saying I'm just gonna walk in there and walk through them, but I really do. I definitely don't plan on losing. So, I think that it's gonna be a battle for a while, and I think I'm gonna end up pulling away in the later rounds. So, probably either second or third round stoppage, or I'll even take a victory via decision. But I do think, like I said, dude's tough and he's going to fight the whole time. So if it goes the distance, it's going to be a good one.
We talked all about fighting here today. What are some of your interests outside of fighting? I don't know if you watch any other sports. Are you playing any video games? You're a Netflix guy. What do you like doing outside the cage?
Nah, man, I'm a pretty boring person, to be completely honest.
Okay.
Like I said, I've really tried to dedicate myself to being better. I've been trying to read more. I'm
Any
trying to
any good books
always.
you've read recently? Anything like that? Anything you want to tell my audience here?
Uh, oh man, I'm in the middle of reading The Obstacle Is the Way right now.
Cool.
Yeah, Obstacle Is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Super good so far. What's some other ones? Dude, David Goggins. Both of David
Oh,
Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me and Never Finished. Highly recommend those. Just started listening to Untethered Soul. I can't remember the author's name off the top of my head, but that one's really good too right now. All kinds of, it's just really anything, man. I've put off the I had such a bad mindset whenever I was younger, whenever I was in school. All I've ever cared about was training. I was like, one day I'm gonna be the best fighter in the world. I had this horrible mindset of like nothing else matters in the world except for being the best fighter. It's like I don't need to freaking learn anything. Like I don't need to like I'm not gonna do anything except for fight. And so all the way up until I was about 21, I had that mindset, and then or 22, I guess. And then my purpose changed from being the best fighter I could be to being the best person I could be. And I was like, man, I really need to focus up and make sure my discipline that I apply to martial arts is applied to everything I do in my life, and just try to become the greatest version of myself. So, other than that, obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I'm not utilizing all 24 hours of my day, perfectly. So, no, I like to. I'll sit down. My roommate plays Call of Duty and stuff. Sometimes I'll sit down on the couch and grab a game with him or something every now and then. And I used to be a huge video game nerd, so video games still appeal to me for sure. So, other than that, man, unfortunately, I'm down here in Florida. Not so unfortunately, it's freaking beautiful. I love it down here, but I am away from my family back home in Missouri. But usually, if I'm home, that's what I'd be doing, trying to spend time with them. They're the reason why I do everything I do, and any chance I get to be with them, I try to take advantage of. So, yeah, pretty boring, man. I don't really do much else other
it's like a
than
lot of us, man.
train.
Honestly, like you're
Yeah,
saying, you're boring. I'm doing similar stuff, reading, and just
yeah,
not doing a whole lot outside. But that's why people who are successful are not indulging in
yeah.
those other things, right? So it's all good. UFC Fight Night, February 18th. Evan, really appreciate you taking the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Oh man, thank you so much. First off, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Really good talking to you, and hopefully we can do it again. And other than that, man, I would have to take another hour, man. I say it all the time, man. God has blessed me with so much in my life. I can't even believe it. Um,
But you can find all your sponsors and stuff on social media. Maybe mention that, and
Yeah,
then people can go check them
yeah,
out, right?
yeah, no, sorry. But yeah, the greatest blessing I have is the people in my life. So thank you to anybody and everybody that I know, because man, I have just the best support system. I love you guys. And all my sponsors, go check out my Instagram. It's my Instagram is at Evan_Elder. Go check that out. I got everything you need over there. So shout out to all my sponsors: Pioneer Paving, Martin Jetco Heating and Cooling, First Form, many others. Rob Reddy with Southwest Oral Surgery. All of them. Go check out my Instagram. They'll be on there.